Round number 3, boots are going to boot, and we poke fun at them a lot on our social media. We try not to punch down, but I think one of the reasons we feel okay about doing it is that we're also very open about what enormous dorkwads we were when we were boots. I don't know if it's quite the same for officers. Is there like, oh God, look at this lieutenant doing this boot shit?
Yeah, there definitely is.
Like what?
I think their boot shit is different though than ours.
Yeah.
Our like enlisted side boot shit is like backpacks and gear and things like that. I feel like officer boot shit is getting a nice set of loafers, getting some even shorter pastel color shorts.
Yeah.
And a
No,
nice
he's
polo.
right. He's right. Like,
how tight can you tuck in your polo shirt?
Yeah. No, he's right. Or, let me get this really expensive attaché that I'm going to carry with me to meetings.
Oh,
or
God.
A really
Let me
fancy
bust
pen.
out my Mont Blanc pin.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So before you joined us, there was one day we were talking about Mont Blanc pens or nice pens, whatever. The very next episode, I came in wearing my Mont Blanc pen, and Chaps happened to be in town. He looked over at me and he just goes, "You son of a bitch."
Officer boot. I guess we'll call officer boots loafers. Fucking loafers, man.
Yeah.
Look at these
Love
dumbass
it.
loafers.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Oh, man. with
Boots
a
and
penny in
loafers.
it.
That's exactly what it is.
For sure. Boots and loafers.
New
They're
loafer goofing.
Just loafer. New
Stepping
loafer
out my
goofing.
crocodile loafs.
But again, it's more of an enlisted thing. And we asked some of our followers, what is the most boot dorkiest shit you've ever done? So for me, I was one of those shameless mirror selfie people. And I could not get enough of taking mirror selfies in uniform with like a boonie cover on, dog tags out, and I'm giving the thumbs up. The first like 50 photos I have of myself in service, either double thumbs up or one thumbs up, mouth wide open going, hey, like the Fonz.
Do you have
for
any
some reason.
parade rest pics?
I do. I have a couple parade rest photos. I have, I wore this T-shirt with a bulldog on it that said "Taking a bite out of the Middle East." I wore it. I wore it. Yeah, I had never deployed. I wore it unironically. I wore it like
Before you
tucked
deployed.
into my jeans out in town.
Wow.
I had a backpack everywhere. I wore a Camelback out in
you
town a
still
couple
wear a
times.
backpack everywhere.
I still wear a backpack everywhere, but I also am guilty of wearing a Camelback a couple times as well, which is unforgivable. You just
out
absolutely
in public?
can't. Yes.
Not working out?
Yeah, like it's going to be hot out in Oceanside today. I'll just bring this. Yeah, like I was a fucking...
Oh, hydrated? You already know I'm hydrated.
You know. It was just like to go to the movies in Oceanside.
Bring out the P chart right now. I
Yeah.
am crystal clear.
I will show
all right.
you.
Did you guys ever fill your Camelback with liquor when you went to a concert?
No.
Absolutely not.
No. That would clog up the hose, my
Well,
friend.
then I guess that must have been a loafer goofing move.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
that
a
is
little bit of
something that
loafer
we used to
goofing.
do.
My
Loafer
biggest
goof?
boot moment for sure. When I first got to Okinawa, I got assigned to live in the barracks. And you don't have, like, whenever you go to boot camp, you go to MCT, you go to follow-on school here in Lackland where I went to K-9 school, they issue you blankets and shit like that. Whenever I got to Okinawa, was the first spot that I had been to where they didn't issue any type of blankets or sheets or anything like that. So I had to go to the PX. Buddy, if you don't think that I got one of those super fleece Eagle Globe and Anchor ones,
yeah.
like the biggest Marine Corps logo I could find.
Yep.
I wanted whenever I wanted my platoon sergeant or kennel master to come in and do a room inspection, I wanted it to be the most moda place in the world. I had the big Marine Corps flag up there. I had the flag. I had the Eagle Globe and Anchor on my blankets. I was ready to go. First money I spent in Okinawa was definitely on moto shit.
A giant EGA blanket. I remember so many people had those too. But a lot of the common ones that people said were, getting tattoos. A few people said getting married at MOS or tech school. A ton of people responded with their own thumbs up photos. And they were like, I did it too. Oh my God. All my beginning photos are like giving the thumbs up in uniform for some reason. So I wasn't alone with that. And then this one from KC Best 14 was to take a picture with every single gun I came in contact with. Obviously, so many. There's a photo of me with a Mark 19, a 50 cal, a saw, my M4, this, that. That was definitely a thing with your gas mask.
Oh, that just reminded me. I was still in school, but we had gone to training at Fort Knox, and we got to fire the Mike 25 Mike gun. I brought home the shells for my dad.
Yeah, you got to take a little memento. You got to take a
Oh,
selfie.
yeah, Dad, totally common. What we do is we take these, we clean them out real good, and then we use them as shot glasses. That's what we do.
It's pretty normal. Well, this guy, Casey Best 14, said, taking a picture with every gun I come into contact with. At Eric Humphreys 10 replied, does this count? It's him. You can see his PFC Chevron. Or no, his private Chevron.
Yep.
No,
And
PFC. You're right.
Oh, his PFC.
There's no such thing as private chevrons, Kate.
Oh,
Sold out, Kate
my
strikes
God,
again.
help me. They're invisible, He's pointing his rifle directly at the camera. You can see right down the barrel, which is like a huge no-no because he's clearly pointing his rifle right at somebody else. And it's in black and white. And you can tell he feels badass. He's like,
Black and white really makes it.
But so it's just so funny because that is the dumb shit we did as boots. Like a little weapon safety.
And at that
goofing.
moment, this dude, we'll put it out on social too, this dude feels like a badass. Like you really do. And those moments that you're a boot, you don't realize how silly you look. And you're thinking,
Yeah.
I am so fucking cool.
It was just looking through these responses and photos was so fun because it was everybody kind of admitting it and being like, yeah, here's mine. Like it was just so funny. And not just people taking photos with any sort of weapon, any sort of military vehicle too. Hot patooties. So many people responded.
Yep.
Here's me with a busted
Sitting on a Humvee.
Yeah. That guy 095 said, taking super cool pictures on the busted ass motorcycles at the Mount Village. Like they would have them around the Mount Villages to just make it more. And so it's him and he's like looking really cool in the front. And then his buddy on the back has his shirt tied up in a little knot with his gut hanging out. It's like a whole thing. But there was people sending me like, here's me in front of an army fire truck. Here's me in an army tank, army helicopter, army this, army that. Like everybody has to take photos with whatever vehicle too. Another huge one was wearing boot shit out in town. And this guy at I am the Dylan V wore my battalion skivvy shirt to a Jason Aldean concert with my best friend. And his best friend is wearing his USMC 3rd Battalion shirt.
When I was a boot, you absolutely would never catch me unless I was wearing something from PacSun or Hollister. PacSun, Hollister, and a unit shirt. That's basically my wardrobe at the time. And I wanted it because I knew my guns were looking good, my chest, my titties were looking fucking tight. I wanted to make sure that the skivvy shirt was nearly bodysuit level, where it's like, is Chaps wearing a t-shirt or does that snap underneath and he's wearing a bodysuit?
Yeah, is this painted onto his body? That's what this kid looks like. That his shirt is so incredibly tight. His pecs are screaming. It looks like he's actually pulling it tighter.
You can see the dimples on his areola.
Yes, you can. It is that, and it's tucked into his shirt, and he's got a web belt holding his jeans up. I love this one. At Storm and Norman AK, the day I got out of boot camp, when me and my family were exploring San Diego, I would sprint across the street every time we hit a crosswalk because I wanted to show off how much better shape I was in. Every time it was time to cross the road, he's like, I'll meet you guys across the street. He would like sprint to show them how fit. It's like when a little kid gets a new pair of shoes and they like sprint around everywhere to show their friends how fast they are now. I love, at Zachary Leka said, wore green full PT gear, including glow belt, Oakleys, and dog tags out on boot leave. A couple other people.
That's a whole nother level. Wearing a glow belt on your civilian time, unless you're PTing, which safety is often paramount, right, Cons?
That's very true.
Very true. This guy, Real Fake Pinks, said he got a screaming high and tight, made his sleeves super tight, and had super high boot blouses. Really high boot blouses was another boot thing. And I would listen to Run to Cadence albums when I was out running. I wasn't in a good place, LOL.
I still do that, though. Not
I was
all
going to
that
call
other
Cons
part.
out on it. He still does it. He still
I listen to
Run
the cadences on Spotify.
Well,
I can't help it if I do run, and I made the promise to the listeners, unless there's a catastrophic event like I'm going to miss a flight, I will never run. That is back into full effect. I apologize again. But whenever I ran like a Spartan race before I started working at Barstool, it is impossible for me to hear the cadence of my feet hitting the pavement and not think, hello, fried. Hello, fried.
You
like,
guys,
no, you're right.
Immediately.
You're right. I'm
You
the
guys-
same way.
you
If
guys
I
are
ever-
psychopaths.
If I ever run
You guys
without headphones and it's just running, I'm singing something to myself.
You guys are
What's the
psychopaths.
go-to one that goes through your head, Cons?
C-130 rolling down the strip.
Yeah, that's a pretty common one.
Yep.
Rolling through the jungle with my M16 is another one that
Little
always
yellow
goes through
birdie.
my... Huh?
Little yellow birdie.
Oh,
Little
yeah.
yellow birdie with a little yellow bill.
Or
Anyway,
I'll just be like, what's the sound of artillery? Boom, boom.
Speaking of being a hardo weirdo, J.M. Thompson 2024 said, wore my waffle top under my t-shirt with the sleeves pushed all the way up because it made me look jacked. So
Fuck yeah.
It was like how I used to put a sock in my bra in 6th grade.
Let me tell you. High school and then the beginning of college, I'd double up on those Abercrombie t-shirts to look bigger.
God. Oh, God.
You wore 2 shirts at the same time?
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Wow.
It was more so in high school. Once I got to college, that calmed down a little. No, that's not true. I think I still did in college.
Well, Van on a Mission said, I refused to wear flip-flops on boot leave because they were against regulation, obviously. So even on boot leave where nobody could stop him. And gave 2 civilian buddies the drill instructor treatment in the airport parking lot after they picked me up. Mimicking drill instructors at MCT was all we did. All we would talk about was our drill instructors, what they did. We would mimic them. We would pretend to be them. And it was like, that is such a huge boot thing. I've
been out of boot camp for a long ass time. I still can't start talking about drill instructors because I'll do it for weeks. Like, yeah. I still get hooked on it. Whenever people want to talk about it, if you see me out in the street and you want to talk about drill instructors, I'm always down. That's probably my Bootest shit ever. I will 1,000%. If I start watching videos on YouTube of drill instructors yelling at recruits, I'll be there the rest of the day. I love it. And something about the cadence of Marine Corps drill instructors specifically, whenever they're doing marching cadence, like the sing-song cadence, I love it. I get hooked on it.
Oh, yeah. And new boots, it's still so fresh in their mind. A lot of them, at least in the Marine Corps, it's like one of the things they talk about and still bring up constantly is like their drill instructors and what they were like.
Another big time boot move that they have is whenever you go to like your MOS school, you always have that one motivator who thinks that they sound a lot like a drill instructor and wants to march everybody to and from chow.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big time boot move, too.
Big Hoppatooties move. A lot of people saying their boot outfits that they'd wear out in town, like they would wear their McMat belt with jeans, their T-shirts tucked in, their combat boots. A lot of guys saying they wore their combat boots out in town because, like, well, why buy another pair? These are perfectly fine, just to go to the Oceanside movie theater, that kind of stuff. People going home to, like, local football games and dances in their uniforms.
This one hit me. Other than going to a high school football game in my Charlie's, my first year home for Thanksgiving in college, wore all my team issued Army football gear to the football game.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wearing their stuff when they go home. At Kay Gillette threw his
no
buddy.
No big deal. I hold the ball when they kick field goals.
Mm-hmm.
At Kay Gillette threw his buddy under the bus and says Nino Malcriado made his wedding song Anchors Away. That is a boot-ass boot move.
What's that song? How's that go?
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. I like this one,
All
Gary.
Right. One more, Kate.
Gary Gormley, I like this one. Looked someone in the eye and told them they didn't have the honor, courage, or commitment, and I meant it. At that time, you're so self-righteous. When you first get out, you are holier than thou. You have done this thing, and you are like this perfect being. And people who are messing up and are not doing the same, like you feel like you can tell them.
Yep.
So,
that's the exact reason why we posted the TikTok on Zero Block 30 on Instagram and on Twitter this week or today, that with the dude who is a PFC in the Army, and he's talking about no more jokes about World War III because people don't want to come home in a casket, and there's like Toby Keith or something like that playing in the background.
Alright, I don't know what's funny about this World War III shit and this draft shit, but the shit ain't funny. I'm pretty sure half of you didn't wake up and put a uniform on this morning, and I'm pretty sure that some of you have family over there and friends fighting for your right to do that, and that shit's not cool. Imagine your family member or your friend coming back in a casket with an American flag draped over it. That shit ain't funny.
There but for the grace of God go I. If we would have had those type of accounts, an Instagram account or a TikTok or Twitter that could have went viral when I first joined, buddy, I would have been all over that. I would have been so self-righteous, it would have made your fucking head spin.
Oh, absolutely. I remember Occupy Wall Street was happening when I first got in, and I had a friend of mine who was like, America's not America anymore. America's like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, really? The US of A? The screaming, crying eagle isn't good enough for you? I went off on this long, like for a couple
on
years later.
Facebook, right?
A couple years later, after I got out at a bonfire, he was there, and I was like, "Hey, that was weird, right? Sorry about that. I was in a weird place in my head. I like apologized to him."
Well,
You
I
do
told
you.
when
You're free.
when I first got married, I think this was 2008ish. My wife was friends with a guy on Facebook who posted the American flag upside down, like a distress symbol, on his Facebook account. And I told my wife, I was like, "You better tell him if I fucking see him, I'm gonna whoop his ass."
He doesn't have the honor, the courage, or the commitment, and I mean it. But
This
thank
fucking
you.
hippie fuck these libtards.
But that's how you drink the Kool-Aid. Sorry.
Bet
but
they like that blanket of freedom I provide every night.
Thank you so much to going through these every week is one of the favorite parts of my
Yeah,
week.
it's a lot of fun.
I sit there on my couch going through them, putting them on the sheet, cackling as I read them. Some of them are so funny. This
Can I
guy,
read one last one?
Ryan Noel with the double thumbs up pick, same as me. Like so many great followers, so many funny mirror picks at Focused X Nick and his shirt.
All right, one last one.
One
Cons,
last
what do you
one, a stupid loafer here. A day after commissioning, I parked in the general officer parking at the PX at MCBQ in Butter Bars because I thought it was parking for officers generally. I was
And
wrong.
that one just straight up proves that the only difference between a Lance Corporal and a second lieutenant is that the Lance Corporal has been promoted twice.
True
That
story.
is the only difference.
Yes.
We are all the same at our core. Let's go into round number 4.